Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hello, it's Jo here over from woollycottage.com. Sorry the delay on the videos. If nobody's been following my social media, I've had a bit of family domestic issues going on. Poor Mr. Phil had a detached retina last week, so everything's been up in the air. I've been meaning to do this video for a couple of days now, and this is the first day that I actually feel human. I feel human today. And I've even made a special effort. I've put a dress on. So, back to basics video. I think we're on part 17. Positive it's part 17. I was going to do a blending video. But I thought, you know what? I've done quite a few different drum carding videos. But what we've not really touched on is different types of preparation of rovings and batts. To be able to work with them, to get different effects of yarn that you want to spin with. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I do have a video that I did a couple of years ago, but I will include this sort of preparation, and I'll just touch on what I'm going to do today is spin off a bat and then show you what it can look like potentially at the end of it to get a gradient spun yarn, so you can see the consistent colour changes just like you would do if you were spinning from a roving, where like this one here, if you literally unbraided this roving, which is available on the website, you would split this right down the middle and you would spin it off on one bobbin, one half on one bobbin, and you would spin the other one on another bobbin and then ply, as long as you make sure you start with the same colour, which in this case it would be like this rusty orangey colour, then into the pink, then into the burgundy, then into the bluey purpley sort of shades in the bottom, and you spin them off in the exact same way, both bobbins, and then ply them together to get a consistent colour graduation through the yarn, which can look really, really pretty when you're knitting or crocheting or even using in your weaving. So that's what we're going to talk about today, but I'm going to show you a couple of methods, because if you haven't got a blending board at home, it's quite hard to try and make rolags without them if you like to work with small portions of wool. And another reason for doing rolags is because carded batts, generally all the fibres are going in the same direction, so when you're spinning that, you're getting a worsted wool. If you want to create a woolen style wool, you want to make some rolags, so you can actually make some faux lags just using a knitting needle. Really simple to do, and I'm going to show you how I do it now, and then you can spin that off and you can still get your woolen effect yarn with that nice bloomy air that's trapped inside it, and that's what it does, which is an ideal wool for knitting outer garments. Just give you a bit more fluffiness, baby jumpers and things like that. With a worsted wool, because the fibres are going straight, you're getting a very thin tight twist on the yarn. I say it's not a tight twist, you're not trapping air in it like you would do with a woolen yarn, because with the rolags, the fibres are twisting together. Okay, so when you pull them, they're trapping air in between them. Think of it like a braid. So you've got these little air pockets inside the fibres because they're crisscrossing over, okay, and they're tangling around, so they're trapping air inside that fibre when you're spinning the yarn, and that's the difference between it. Whereas a woolen yarn's generally going in the same direction, there's no room for the air to get stuck inside the fibres, so it'll bloom out, so you get a completely different style of yarn, probably looking a lot more neater and tidier, but they both have their uses for different things. Like if you want to knit Aran jumpers, you really want to try and tend towards the more woolen side of spinning. If you want woolly hats, you want that side, so that it can help formulate, and mittens and gloves and scarves, because you want that air trap method in your fibres to help keep you warm, because the more that the air is agitated inside your jumper when you're moving and working, the warmer that garment is going to make you feel, because it creates a physics reaction where all the molecules all rub together and start to warm up. I know it sounds really weird, but it is actually true. So yeah, so I'm going to show you how to do a couple of faux lags. Just generally find yourself a big knitting needle. You can buy them off those shops online for a couple of quid. You can get from the local knitting shop, or just use a piece of doweling out the shed if you've got any. You want to look at roughly about, that's 15 mil, so about 1.5 centimetres thickness in the end of your doweling is what you're looking for. If it's a bit rough, give it a sand down, but it shouldn't really matter. Drumsticks are another thing that you can use. So I'm just going to tilt you down and you can see what it is that I do to just prep these up, okay? Okay, so I've just got this bit of leftover batt, because sometimes if batt doesn't sell, I recycle it and make it into a new batt on the website. Recycle, recycle, recycle. So I'll just split this in half, okay? Because you don't need a lot of it. If I split this in half, and then what I'm going to do is just turn myself some about an inch wide strip all the way down the batt, okay? Just an inch length. And I'm going to do that a couple of times. There we go, there's one. Another one about an inch. It's probably more of an inch and a half. Just use your thumb down to your knuckle-ish sort of area to give you a guide of what you want. Okay, and I'll do one more just for demonstration purposes. Okay, so there's three. I'll just put them to one side. And what I do is I open this up a little bit, make it a little bit wider, so it's just a little bit easier. And all the fibres, as you can see, are all running in the same direction. There's not many that are crisscrossing over. So I just widen that out a little bit, and I literally just get my knitting needle and tuck that in and roll it up. Just twist it around, turn it around a couple of times, and then you've got yourself a little fold. You don't want to draft out or do anything like that with it. You just literally want to spin it from the centre. And because all those fibres are wrapped around, when they start to come out through the centre of your fold, they'll twist and turn like a little tornado around itself as it's spinning up, and that will help trap the air. So I'll do that a couple more times so you can see. So just plump out the inside of the fibres just to make it a bit wider. It's a bit like drafting, but you're pulling it from the outside instead of lengthways, okay? So just roll that up inside your dowel or your chunky knitting needle. If it feels like there's still quite compacted areas, just twist it out a little bit and just roll it a couple of times just so that all the fibres stick together, because that's what they do. And one more time. There we go. Get that one, twist it around. Okay, so there we go. Twist it a couple more times like you're using a rolling pin, and there you go. You got yourself a couple of roll lags, or faux lags really, because they're not proper real roll lags. You've not put them on a blending board. You've literally just made them out your batt. So if you've got a art batt or a carded batt where you know the fibres are all aligned in the same direction, make yourself up, cut yourself out, pull yourself off a couple of inch long strips, and then split it in half, like you just see me do then, because then you're not working with massive amounts of fibre, because you'd end up with big chunky roll lags. But there you go. So there's your first three. I'll just pop them there. I'll take photos of those in a minute. Right, so the next thing we're going to do, put that one there to one side because that's in a second. Next one is this lovely batt that I've got. I've had this for a while and it's not sold, so I'll probably spin this off. This one is, oh, try and grab the card. It's called Harry's Tweedy. It's a play on words for Harry's Tweed, so it is actually a tweedy batt that I have here. With subtle pops of colours, a mulberry mix with art batt using hand-dyed blue-faced Leicester, merino with tussar silk blend, a non-bio with stellina blend, comb top alpaca, llama tencel viscose blend with lots of tweedy viscose throughout. So loads of little tiny neps. They're not going to pop anywhere. It's part of the fibre. So I'm just going to unravel this. Move my knitting needle out the way because we'll need some room, ladies. Move my cup of tea out the way. Make sure you've got plenty of room. And I'm not going to fluff it out any more than it already is, okay? I'm going to open it up. you know, sometimes you have a table, you've never got enough room to get going, have you? So there, that is the full length of my batt, and all my fibres are running up that way, and you can see the lines on the screen there. Okay, and all my fibres are lining up that direction, because when I fold my batts, I fold them into the centre, because that's the way it's come off the blending of drum carder, and all my fibres are going in that direction. So what I'm going to do next is start my elbow join preparation of a batt. An elbow join of a preparation of a batt, you can use this for spinning a single if it's a mixed colourway. So like say I had more maroon here, and then a brown, and then a darker shade of brown. You're going to see the colour transitions on that single, and then you can apply it with anything if you wanted to keep that definition of colour. So I'm just going to do my inch here, and I'm going to get started, and I'm just going to literally pull it all the way down to the bottom, which is down here, and then when I get about my hand's width, so maybe about, I don't know, about three and a half, about 3 inches away from the bottom, I stop there. Okay, can you see there's the length that I've just ripped off, and there is the rest of it. Okay, and I've got this bit down the bottom. So what I do now is I come back over about 1.5 inches to the other side, just get that started. So I end up tearing this, and I end up with this V shape. Let me see if I can just tilt you up a little bit so you can see what it is that I've got. So I've got this V shape here. So there's the length I've just done, and there's the bit I'm about to start on, and you end up with this elbow join. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way up to the top again on this batt. Move my stuff out of the way. All the way up to the top, and straighten that out. And again, about 3 inches from the top, I'm going to stop there. This is where it ends. This is where the top of the fibre is. And I'm going to come back over again about 1 inch, and I'm going to find my tear, and I'm going to come and work my way all the way back down again. All the way down until again I'm about 3 inches from the bottom, and I'm going to come over about 1 inch or about a thumb's width over, and I'm just going to keep doing that all the way up. All the way up. And then stop there. Again, there's my stop here, and there's the top of my fibre. Okay, and I'm going to come over about a thumb's width and drag that down. Right, there we go. So there's the bottom there, and about 3.5 inches from the bottom. Come over about another thumb's width, and then just keep repeating until the whole batt's been torn with elbow joins. And keep going. So it's just a good way that if you like to spin with braids, this is really essentially what you're creating. Is just you're creating yourself a really fluffy long braid of fibre. Right, so again over my thumb's width and start tearing all the way down again. Right, all the way down till about 3.5 inches from the bottom. Come over a thumb's width and then start tearing back up the top. And it's good for those moments that you're going away for a weekend, you haven't got the space or the capacity to actually store or prep your batt when you're away, so you can have it all torn up into the way that you want to and prepared before you go away and drafted so you can just spin on the go. Right, so I'm gonna move over a little bit. I'm going to pull down again all the way down to the bottom. Right. I mean, you could essentially, you could just pull strips of the fibre off, which is ideal if you've got a mixed coloured batt, but you want to change the colours, the colour flow in the way that the batt's been done. Right, there we go, I'm nearly up the top there, so come back over again. But if you want to keep the continuity of the colour together, I sometimes feel it's a lot easier and a lot better to do it this way, because once you draft this up in a bit, you will just braid it all, and it's easier to store, and it's ready for you to spin when you've got the chance. So next, down the bottom again, another thumb's width over. There we go, nearly at the top. I think I've got room for one more. At the top of that there, I've stopped. See, there's my gap. And then one more. I think I might get one more out of this. All the way down again. Keep going. And there I am down the bottom. So there you've got. And it goes like this. Oh, there's a pin here. Right, so there's your stripe, and it goes from there into an elbow join, and if you follow it back up, you've got another elbow join there, and then you come back down, and then you've got your other join here. Okay, so you just put them neatly up there, lay that down there, then you follow it back up, and there's another join there, and then you follow it back down, and there's your other join here. Follow that back up, another join here. Follow that down, there's a join here. Follow that back up, and you have another join there. So it's like a V shape with a big lumpy bit at the end. We call it the elbow. There's another bit there, another bit here, another bit down here, and another bit up here, and then there we go, there, back down, and there's the first one that we started with, this elbow join. Can you see? We have, that's what it says, essence you are looking for is that. Now you're like, yeah, but that's all well and good, Jo, but how do we actually spin around the elbow joint? Well, what you want to do is you want to pre-draft. So now you get to that stage, you want to start pulling the fibres just ever so gently so they're all drafted before you get going, and you just create yourself a little pile, and you keep going until you start coming to the elbow. And the elbow, you just keep drafting like you are doing with your straight pieces. So there, oh, a minute, are we nearly there? Oh, there it is, there. No, it's not. Hold on a second, we've got a little bit to go, nearly there. You don't realise how fat this batt was. So just keep drafting like you would do any other time. And I'm just coming to the elbow join now. And what you want to do is, there's the elbow, this fat chunky piece, and you want to just make sure it's in your hand, and you're going to keep drafting. You'll have your hand where the actual V bit is, just keep a hold of that, and you want it, there it is there, that's my V here, see there, right? So what I'm going to do now is try and make sure that I don't draft too harshly, because that's the weakest point in this. Just ever so gently pull those fibres. There we go, and I'm out on the other side now, so you would never know that there was actually a join there. So I'm just going to keep drafting this. Keep going until I get to my other join in a minute, which I'm nearly at, which is here. Okay, so there's my V. Right, so I'm at the join now, so I make sure that that's all kept in my hand. There's the lumpy bit. I'm just going to put that on my hand. So I've got a control on it. I'm just going to ever so gently draft that out. Draft it out with the other piece. And get my hand in where the V should be, which is this bit here. Because that's disappeared now. And then I'm back onto the home straight on the other section again. So I can go through. Just keep pulling, drafting out my fibres. I'm coming up to the other V in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to get my hand in a place where I can hold on to that section that's got the divide in it. And I'm just going to ever so gently use my thumb just to make sure it doesn't all come out at the same time. And there we go. I'm out the other side. It seems really simple. It takes a little bit of practice, but it's not rocket science, ladies or gentlemen. There's my next elbow here. So again, I'm going to put my hand in that section there. I'm going to make sure that that lumpy piece is inside my thumb so I can keep a control tension on there. And just gently pull the fibres. And look, the lumpy bit's gone. Keep going. Then coming up to the next elbow join. There we go. So again, just keep drafting like I would do anyway, and just pinch onto that and help grab the fibres with that lumpy section is in your hands, so it's all a little bit more even. There we go. Come up to the next elbow join, which is here, big fat piece, and already my hand is in that V section in there. So I'm just going to make sure it's crumpled up in my hand. Well, just sort of just resting in my hand. My thumb's on the top to help keep the tension so that the fibres don't all pull out and it tears in that section. There we go. Oh. Let's carry on with this now. I've still got half of this batt to do. You just get yourself into a rhythm, because it's just getting past those first two elbow joins and then you're like, yep, I know what it is I need to do. I need to adjust. There's my next elbow join, my hand's underneath, so I'm just going to scrimp that up in my hand. Make sure that the fibres I'm pulling on the straight and in the join all run together. There we go. There's a bit there, the back end of that elbow join, and then back on. As I say, the first couple of corners, angles, and elbow joins are the bits that are the trickiest until you find your rhythm. As I'm already at the next piece here. Just ever so gently pull at these sections now. There's lots of sparkle in this batt. This will look really pretty spun up. I'll spin this up and it will find its way onto the website. So I will start adding more hand spun yarns onto the website. So there's my elbow joint, and I just want to make sure that those fibres are trapping together from both the straight sides and that top corner. There's meters and meters and meters of this stuff. Right, and more. So I've got to the elbow joint here. Okay, so when I get to this, I'm going to crumple my hand over and I'm going to pull that. So there's the rest of the fibre, and see how that section's now got really, really thin. That's where I want to make sure that I hold this transition piece so it stays straight, the same as everything else, and then evens itself out. That's the back end of that elbow there. It's a little bit more flumpy, and then I just carry on. Now remember as well, the distance in your hands being apart on the fibres as well, because of the staple length of your fibres. Some fibres are about 10 centimetres long, some fibres are maybe 12 to 15 centimetres long. So you just need to keep that in thought with the type of fibre that you've got in here in your blended batt. It's easy enough to go and look up the information to find out the staple length, because you'll find that a lot of blenders don't add in the staple length. I do to certain products descriptions, but I don't do it a lot. But it's easy enough information. If you've got books at home, just go and have a look it up, and then you'll know roughly where to put your hands. Because if I put my hands there, they're too close together, so the staple length of the blue face Leicester that's in there is fighting with me to open up, to pull. So if I keep my hands a little bit further back from each other, then drafting is easier. See? So if I have my hands like that, I'm not going anywhere, and I am tugging on that. But if I keep my hands further apart, then the fibres come apart a lot easier. Right, I've got another elbow joint here now. I'm just coming up for it. There we go. On that edge, there's the last of the flumpy bits. There we go. And this is my very last elbow joint I've got now, down this bottom. The first one we did. Okay, let me just pull that out of there. This is the first one we did. So my hands are a good distance apart for the staple length. I've also got bio nylon in this, which has got quite a long staple length in it as well on its own. There we go. So at the elbow joint here, I'm going to put my hand in underneath, make sure it's there, gripped in quite nicely. I'm not going to put too much tension on my fibre. I'm going to just keep pulling that. So look, there's half of that's nearly gone already in with that straight section. There's the last piece of that corner, and look at it move and stretch out, and it ends up just becoming part of it. So that's that full section drafted out already. There we go. Easy as that. Okay, so what do you do with it next? Braid it. Just braid it like you would do if you are braiding a roving. Just have to be a bit more gentle, especially when it comes to the thinner sections where the elbow joins were. But you just want to braid it up. And then you can plop it away in your little bag. In my batts all come in organza bags. So you can just plonk it straight back in there until you're ready. Just spin it up and you're already prepped and sorted. There we go. Keep braiding that. I've got mountains of the stuff. So that is more or less the same thickness all the way along, roughly between, I don't know, a thickness of about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, which I think is just a nice depth for spinning with. Not too congested or compact in certain sections. You may feel that you still want to draft out a little bit, but it will give you a smoother spin as you're going along. And I spin from the braid. I literally just undo sections of it at a time and spin straight from the braid. It's just so much easier because it's already all prepped, and you can do that with rovings as well. Let's plonk that to one side so it's out of my way. So that's faux lags we've covered, so you can still get a woolen spin off. Oh, stuck on something. You can still get a woolen spin off your art batts, so you can card your art batts, and I've done that. There's a video in the past, and I might do it again as back to basics, so you just know where to come looking for it. But you can blend your bats to create a a woolen style art bat. Very simple to do. There's no extra time in it. It's just about how you layer your fibres as it's been carded on to the drum carder, because the drum carder wants to blend everything in the same way, in the same direction. So it's just about a different technique to putting fibres onto your blending board, or well, not your blending board. I've never tried it on the blending board because my roll lags do what I want it to do anyway. I want to create a woolen spin with the blending board. That's more or less the whole point of it. But the drum carder wants everything to go in the same direction, even to the way that you're combing it to pack the fibres down is encouraging it to stay in a straight same direction. But by putting fibres on in a slightly different way, when you're first carding, it will help trap in more fibres. Alternatively, recard your bats. Card them 2 or 3 times. Twice is more than enough, because what you find is that you could quite easily put 120 grams onto a drum carder and blend off that bat, and it'll go on gorgeously. And then you'll end up blending it again, stripping it down to sections and putting them back onto the drum carder. But it's more work, and you can't always get the last of the fibre on there, because what it's doing is trapping more air into that drum carder, you see. So you actually you're trapping air in there. So to in effect, double carding your bats or triple carding your bats will give you a woolen style spin, because of the amount of air that's trapped in there, and when you spin it and things like that. And that would be perfect for turning into little mini folags, because of the way the amount of air that's been trapped in there from recarding it again. It just really gets really bouncy and really bloomy, and some people find them really easy to spin up as well when it's been carded twice. So there we go. There is one long pre-drafted elbow joint roving in a braid. There we go. So as soon as I want to spin that again, I literally find where I started with my, hang on a minute, there we go. So I'll literally get it started, and I will spin that section, and then once I've spun that section, I'll just undo the braid again, and I'll undo that a couple of sections and spin that off again. And that's what I do. I'm quite happy with that, because it means at my work, if I ever decide I don't want to spin anymore and it's getting too late, or I want to sit and watch a film, it means that my fibre's already sat there waiting for me to come back again and finish it off. There we go. So that is how you do an elbow join. Right. I'm looking at the clock and it's 28 minutes. What I'll do is it's live chat tomorrow, Wednesday. I'll spin this yarn off so you can see it on the live chat tomorrow. The video I'll do next week, Back to Basics 18, I will do this bat. I thought I'd have time, but I've already been on here half an hour, and I don't like doing my videos too long. This one is actually a gradient bat, okay? It has got, it's called the Forester. It's jammed with natural wool of dark brown and fawn finish in Gotland, with a Suffolk wool and a merino tencel blend, soft whip neps, hand dyed with Corriedale, a touch of merino viscose, tweedy viscose blend. Okay, so that's what's in this, and it's really pretty. It's been sat on the shop for a while, and I thought, well, this would be perfect for doing a gradient spin. So it's this one here. So you can see, I'll just open it up. It does have different natural colours, natural wool, different colours going all the way through there. So that's that chocolate brown here, into this fawny coloured, and then into that brown down the bottom. So I thought, well, it's been on the shop for a while. Sometimes people are a little bit scared of foreign wools like Gotland and stuff like that, and Finnish wool. I quite like them, and they're brilliant for outer garments. So I'll prep this up next video and do a fractal spin, and I'll actually spin it while I'm filming. So that's what I'll do for next week. So watch out for that video, because I know I'm late. Sorry, these things happen, don't they? They're sent to tryers. So I'll spin this off next week, and how we'll do it is we'll literally strip it in half, and then cut off singles, and yeah, anyway, well, I'll get into that next week. So I hope you found this video useful. Catch me tomorrow on my YouTube, on this channel, my YouTube channel, for my live chat, and I'll be doing a bit of spinning, and I'll catch you then. Anyone that's subscribes to my website, I've moved over host providers if you don't follow my social media account. And if you subscribed to my website in the past for newsletters, if you go on to the website now at www.willeycottage.com, go over and resubscribe, and you can actually create an account by logging in as a new account, so that you can keep an eye on what orders you've done or whatever it is that you've done in the past. But you can subscribe as well. And if you use the code SUB10, SUB in big letters and 10, you'll get 10% off your order, off your first order, okay? So if you go over there and do that, and then you get your email with your VIP subscribers discount code in there, and there's a 15% discount code in there to use up until the 8th of November for people that are new to subscribing on that new platform. I've moved from Wix to Squarespace, and I've not been able to move over my customers to that platform. Their profiles, the way they do things is completely different, and it's just too much. I can't move over my contacts, and I've got like 400 contacts on my Wix account. And I can't move them over. I can't even send them I can't even transfer the information by hand manually. So if you'd love to go over there, go and have a look at the new look website. Easier to move around. You can get, and there's a sales shed on there. There's some items in there in the sales shed that are discounted already, and you can use your code against those as well. Shipping's all set up, and payments and everything else. It's all ready to go. Well, it's all live now, and I've been getting sale. I got a sale in last week and one today, so it is working. So yeah, pop over there, go and have a look, have a mooch around, and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe, otherwise you won't get the newsletter next month for any Christmas specials that I've got coming up. I will be doing a pre-Christmas discount code, but only for subscribers, and I will be doing a social media discount code as well, sometime in November and maybe the beginning of December, but you'll need your newsletters for that information and for those codes. So thanks very much for watching. Please hit that subscribe and that like. It really does help me get found. I've not brought up my YouTube subscribe button. I'll have to bring that over tomorrow for my live chat. Take care of yourselves, speak to you soon, and I'll catch you next week for fractal spinning and batten preparation. Bye.